This segment is brought to you by
Nutri Health, producers of Favor Chocolate and Hibiscus Tea.
Good morning. My name is Sonia, and today on our lifestyle segment, I have a special person with me in the studio to talk about something very sensitive. And you may have heard it used to describe people who have mood swings or people who have very stable emotions. It's bipolar disorder. It's a mental illness that causes drastic effects, it causes the mind to, look, let me not go into it. She's here. I have someone in the studio who has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. When she called me, she wanted to share her story. I was touched because I know there's a stigma attached to it. And she's here to tell us her journey with it. I want you to have an open mind. I want you to open your heart and listen, because there's so many misconceptions about bipolar disorder. And I hope that after this segment, you would go and read more about it, and then you would appreciate the people who have been diagnosed with it. Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Having you here today is I know it's a big step, because I know that not everyone will be bold enough to want to talk about it. Yeah. Not everyone would even want their family members to know they've been diagnosed about it.
Yeah.
So tell us, the platform is open.
Yeah.
I want to know more about you. I want to know what you do.
Okay.
I want to know at what point were you diagnosed, if you were medically diagnosed, what triggered it, how your family took it, how people reacted to you. I have so many questions, but I want you to be you. Just tell me as it is, because everyone is listening. And just remember, look at me. If you're getting emotional, you're allowed to be emotional. Sure. And I just want the world to know that it's really out there, and you people are just like us. Okay. So my first question is, when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed in 2014.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And towards the end of 2014, December 2014, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
2015.
2015.
I started getting symptoms in 2014.
Okay.
But I was diagnosed end of 2015. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I went through, it was a progression.
Okay.
It started with depression.
Okay.
Graduated to schizophrenia.
Oh, wow.
And then it became bipolar. I suffered a heartbreak, a very bitter heartbreak, from a gentleman I was dating at the time.
Okay.
I was in uni in the US, Knox College. I was studying economics, math, and Mandarin. And I was in a very serious relationship which was supposed to lead to marriage.
Okay.
His family knew me, our families knew each other and everything. But along the line, he started talking to my best friend. Yeah, it was very, very heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I went through chronic depression.
Wow.
I took to fasting, prayer, and all of that, but I was very isolated as well. I wasn't really talking to people about it, and that led to me hallucinating a lot.
Wow.
So I was in uni in Illinois, and then I had to fly back home to New York, and I started hearing voices.
Wow.
Yeah, I was sleeping and I'll be having dreams and I'll start hearing voices. Like, pick up a knife, kill yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I FaceTime friends, they'll tell me kill yourself online or something. It was really ridiculous. I was having scary dreams of dying, you know?
So
yeah.
1 second. So at what point did you reach out for help? Because I know most of what I've read, or most of the documentaries I researched, they don't even know they're going through it. So they act crazy in quotes. Yeah. And people think you're very emotional. Look, a couple of years ago, I used to be a very emotional person.
Yeah.
I can meet you 1 minute and be nice, and the next minute.
Yeah.
But I don't think I was diagnosed as bipolar.
Yeah.
I didn't get to that point,
yeah,
thankfully. But for you, at what point did you reach out, or at what point did anybody notice that she needs help, so I need to go in.
Okay. So when I started having these scary dreams and hearing voices, I spoke to my dad about it. I was living with my dad.
Okay.
So he said, "Oh, these are just dreams, blah blah." So he said, "Okay, let's go for deliverance." So we went to a Ghanaian church in New York, and I was delivered. Hours, like a whole week, they were delivering me.
What?
Yeah, thinking it was like the attack spiritually.
Yeah.
My dad just said, "No, you know, this is something." So one day after deliverance, I went home and I picked up a knife, and I put it to my stomach that I'm stabbing myself. So my dad called 911. They came to pick me, and they took me to a mental hospital in New York. That's where I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. I started taking medication for that. I was in a mental hospital for 2 to 3 weeks. When I came out, I came to Ghana. But the problem was I stopped taking my medication when I came to Ghana. And then for about 3 weeks to a month, I relapsed. And then it became something else because I wasn't taking my medication. And that's when I was diagnosed with bipolar. I began to have mood swings. There are types of bipolar. There's bipolar 1, bipolar 2.
I was just going to get there. Okay.
I was diagnosed with bipolar 1, which is the most serious one. Manic depression. But bipolar 1 is mainly mania, which is elation. I used to go into psychosis, which is like a break from reality. I would break stuff when I'm upset. I would walk around the street like I'm crazy. I was just tormented in my mind.
I hear some people think they have superpowers. So
exactly. I began to say I was Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you were sent. Like, you have some special calling. And
exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly. And one thing.
How long do the durations last? Because I know with manic depression, it can go as long as 3 months.
Yes.
In this state.
So there are certain symptoms I begin to exhibit when I'm manic. So my family knows this.
Okay.
And the moment they begin to see that, they call my nurses or my doctors, and they come take me to the hospital. Sometimes I can be hospitalized for 2 months, 3 months.
Oh my goodness.
Kolebu, Northridge Hospital.
In Ghana, you
Yes, in Ghana, when I came back. Yeah.
And also, I know usually people with bipolar disorder have, as you said, other disorders, personality disorders. Like there's always something linked to it.
Yeah.
And the medications you take have side effects that can even make you act worse.
Exactly. So before I started taking medication, I was a US size 4.
Okay.
Now I'm like almost a US size 16. Oh, and I was bigger than this. I was a UK 20, pushing 22 because of the medication.
Wow. Yeah.
And this is in the span of like 6 months. I started gaining weight so quickly from taking medication. People see me, they're like, "Oh, you're big." They don't even know what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the effect the medication had on me.
Yeah.
They have different types of medication, but one that has worked for me, they have lithium, quetiapine. I take quetiapine. They have risperidone.
Okay.
I take quetiapine. The main side effects of quetiapine is weight gain.
Okay.
So
but it keeps you sane.
Yes, it keeps you sane.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so when you were diagnosed, I know families would always want to keep this kind of information in the house.
Yeah.
Were you able to tell your friends? I mean, I can imagine, for me, I've had a very good support system. So they'll be there for me regardless of whether I'm acting funny or not. But for someone who's been medically diagnosed, were you able to tell, did you have friends that you told, and when you told them this happened, what was the reaction like? How were people reacting to you when they found out? You know, to them, you're crazy. Like someone with bipolar is, in quotes, crazy. How did you lose friends, family members? Like how did they react?
Okay, first of all, my family was very, very supportive.
Okay.
My mom especially has been my support system.
Okay.
My dad has been my prayer pillar. Like taking me through this. I think that my mom, my brother, and my dad have been the only ones really standing for me.
Okay.
And a couple of my mom's friends, friends and family have been extremely supportive. But as to my friends, they didn't take it well at all. As I speak to you, I can count my friends with just one pound.
Wow.
Yeah. Because they all left me. It began to affect them in a way because I began to attack them, all sorts of things, and they didn't understand the circumstance at the time. So they were reacting all sorts of ways. I'll hear gossips about me. I'll see screenshots of messages. And the way my bipolar was, it took me out there. I didn't even have to say it. People would know I wasn't myself. But they began to take it personally, like, you get what I mean? But they took it out of proportion. Like till now, people tell me, oh, they wanted to love me from a distance because it was affecting their lives. You know, it was really hurtful because one thing I realized in life is that when you go through some real life situations, that's when you discover who are the real people in your life. I lost almost all my friends.
But it's difficult being in the life of someone who has bipolar.
Very.
I watched something on YouTube and, you know, the mother had bipolar. So one of her daughters had it. And she was dating a guy. For them, they had to keep it in the house. They didn't want anybody to know about it. So the boyfriend didn't know. And then she stopped taking her lithium pills. And she went from 0 to like 100 million.
Quickly.
She took his credit card, went on a shopping spree. They're totally different. To the extent that his father disowned him because he was like, why would you spend so much money in a span of 24 hours, you know? So for someone like that, it was difficult for him still wanting to date her because first of all, you didn't tell me. I don't know how to act around you. So I think people just stay away, not because they hate you. I think it's just the fact that they don't know how to handle it. It takes the grace of God. Like it takes you to have something extra to be. I can't imagine my daughter having bipolar, cutting herself. You know, just some don't even remember their parents. Sometimes they wake up and who the hell are you? Like
you're completely different.
It's difficult for the families of people who have it. So I'm just happy that your parents were there for you. They were, you know. So could you give me a general explanation, like what it's like to be in a manic, both positive and negative? Like, I know they're positives.
Positives, like when you're happy, you're extremely happy. And it's like being in another world. It's like, I don't know, the feeling of like being on drugs or something. But like from what I've heard, it's like you're not yourself. Like you're not, anything you do when you're manic cannot. That's why in America people kill people and they say, oh, they have mental illness. You don't know what you're doing. The negative side is like it's an extreme of every feeling. You have every feeling, extreme of every feeling. So when it's anger, it's extreme. When it's happiness, it's extreme. Whatever is, it's just extremes. You know, so I've had very horrible instances where I've like had problems with my mom, like talking to her anyhow, broken stuff. I've broken a TV in my house because I was upset. You know, I've in the hospitals where I was hospitalized, I've had to break out of the hospital, destroy stuff. It's I wouldn't say there's anything good about being manic. I wouldn't say it.
Really?
Yeah, there's nothing good about not having your mind
controlling. You being able
there's
to
nothing good about it. There's nothing good about it.
What would you like the general public to know about bipolar disorder?
I would like people to educate themselves more about it and stop judging people who have it. When somebody posts a nude or posts like ridiculous stuff on social media, find out, are they okay? Is something going on? Because one thing about bipolar is that it heightens your sexual drive. It's an imbalance of chemicals in your brain. And the chemical that is released in excess is dopamine. Dopamine is the hormone you release when you orgasm. So bipolar people have a sexual drive that is different, completely different. They can be horny all day. So that pushes them to like go on social media, take off their clothes, do all sorts of things. And when people see them, immediately they begin to judge them. Oh, this person is promiscuous, there's this, is that. People talk way too much. I think that people really mind your own business. If you see somebody suffering from something, just research, find out what is going on with this person, instead of going just haywire and bashing the person on social media as if you have no problems. That's not how to do life. So that's how what I would tell people. Do your research, study more.
Wow. This is a lot to take in. Thank you so much for coming. I know that I hope this is the beginning of people down here in our part of the world to understand that there's so much to learn about bipolar. You need to remember that they are human beings like us, brothers, sisters. We have our own problems. We have our own issues. And we need to understand that we are not alone. 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 We are They are pastors' sons, pastors' daughters. They could be your spouse. You just have to have an open mind, support them, love them, seek God in them. You need to seek God. Look, you can't do this without God. You can't love a bipolar disorder person without the grace of God. You need God, and you can bring them into God by yourself. Thank you so much, Tanya. I am so grateful for this. I know this is just the beginning of a great relationship. We are here to support you.
Yeah.
And this special segment was brought to you by NutriHealth. They have a tea range. Today's tea is Precase, and Precase is known to be very good. It helps in managing your blood pressure. It's also very good for weight loss. I'll hook you up. It helps in your mood as well. Okay. So yes, I'll make you a cup of tea after. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next week we have something special as well. Thank you. My name is Sonia Zane. It was great having you. Cheers.